The ground is littered with stickers, flyers saying Oshi, no. I don't know whether that's any indication of how people are going to be voting here, but I'm particularly interested because there's a lot about the deep divisions in Greek society and the disorder that
I read some
votes
stuff
either
about
way.
Greek.
So I'm interested in asking people.
I read some stuff about the Greek. They do they give themselves too much good life.
I voted no.
What would it
That's
mean?
exactly the problem. It's also that they don't pay tax.
The unique daughter of a pensioner get a pension as well. And there is like closely funnel. I was like, this is free giveaway.
Okay.
What would
You
it
pay
mean
property tax
for
in
Greece
Greece
if no?
on finished
I
properties.
don't know what that's going.
Okay, finished buildings.
I voted no.
Where's that?
Just
Because
about
there's no
every
alternative.
building in
The
Greece
measures they
has a
want
little
to
bit of
take
reinforcing
are
rod
very
sticking out the
severe,
top,
especially for our generation.
Can I ask you how
because
old
that
you
way
are?
it's not
Yeah,
finished and you don't pay
And
tax
what
on
would
it.
it mean
And some of
for
these ones are
people
doing,
your
they've been
age
like that
if
for 50
the other
years.
side won, if yes,
That's tax evasion.
Perhaps it's my chance to live abroad.
And
you'd leave.
only people who are, the only people effectively who pay tax in Greece are the ones who are getting it taken out of their salary. Everybody else avoids tax, does whatever they can to avoid paying it. And this is the problem. Greece, over the last 200 years, Greece has been given lots of loans, and in some cases only half of the money that's been loaned to Greece has actually got there, but they've never paid them off. And every time it's happened, they've defaulted on the loan and devalued the currency. Now they're part of the euro, they can't devalue the currency. The Greeks have got into a habit of not paying
And
tax.
then French people are blaming the people because they said, you knew Greece was in a shitty,
Yes.
but you keep lending them money, hoping for what?
Yeah, well, that's basically it. I mean, this,
German and French did that. They keep lending because they wanted Greece people to buy German. So they lend them money and then
yeah, but money is a strange concept anyway, because you have £50 cash or £50,000 cash. You put it in the bank. It doesn't in the bank. The bank lends it out.
yeah.
So the money's lent out and it's spent, and it comes back to the bank, and it's another £50,000. So your £50,000 is now £100,000 in the bank, and then they lend it out again. And this might happen 10 or 20 times to the same £50,000. So that's now £1 million. And all these people have got £1 million in the bank, but the bank only actually has £50,000 cash. So what happens if all these people decide, I'm not happy with the bank, I'm going to take my money out?
Are they going to take £50,000 out or?
If you've got 50,000 deposited, then you want your 50,000 back.
Yeah.
And this is what causes bank crashes, because it's called gearing. It's normal. But the point is that the amount of money that's actually circulating is far more than the amount of cash that actually is in the society.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is that money used to be linked to gold or silver. It hasn't been for decades. In a lot of cases, it hasn't been for over 100 years.
Yeah.
So the easiest way to deal with the problem is quite simply you devalue the cash. I mean, quantitative easing, where they just issue lots and lots and lots and lots of cash. If it wasn't for that, with this thing, it actually halved the value of the pound, and yet nothing really increased more than a couple of percent. If it hadn't, then there would have been a recession. Deflation. Deflation in a classical Keynesian economy is a bad thing.
Yeah.
The Japanese have been experiencing deflation for 25, 30 years. But the point about Keynesian economics is that economists tend to forget the other point that Keynes made, and also the other economists right back, is that you cannot have infinite growth. You can't have a 2% growth rate for 100 years. It's totally unsustainable.
But if you have it over 100 years, can be sustainable.
No, it can't be sustained. Because a 1% or 2% growth rate over 100 years ends up being a factor of 10 increase in the size of the economy. At some point, the economy reaches the maximum it can get. And the only way you can increase the economy is to increase the global economy. Bring in Africa and Asia and all the other things, which is what's happening. What happens is that you get these economies which light up and have 10 or 20% for a few years, and people start thinking that's what they're going to get forever. And not. The Chinese economy's been doing 9 to 10% for the last 25, 30 years, and then everybody's built around that. Now, of course, the Chinese economy's reached that plateau, and it's going to start. It's not going to go down. Remember that it's an increase in the rate of increase, or rather, the rate of increase is either decreasing or staying steady, or you reach a level thing. It's not a decline in the economy. The economy isn't declining. If interest rates or inflation is increasing, all that means is that prices are not going up. Income is not going up.
But it's going to stagnate.
But that doesn't matter. Stagnation is when things start going down.
Okay.
And economists will tell you it's really bad to have an interest rate of 0% or 1% or whatever. If you have a steady state economy, it's fine. And you get into some weird things. Okay, if you, for instance, go back to the 1880s, when people were paid in silver, and you compare the wage of a labourer then with the wage of a labourer now, in terms of silver, it's almost the same, except that in the last 5 years it's decreased. And that is stagnation. What you've got to look at is not the money itself, but how many hours you need to work to buy the things you need. That's why economists quite often use things like the Big Mac Index. You say you have to work XYZ amount of time in this country to buy a Big Mac. Because the price of the McDonald's varies in each country. It's more important to talk about it relative to what people earn in that country. So, for instance, food here is expensive, but people earn more as well. And in the end, it more or less balances out in most places. That said, I mean, Africa has got a lot of potential, and there's a huge well of quality of life improvement for people.
That's why we all going back. We all come here, study, get what needed, and then.
And that's what should happen.
Because the boom is going to happen there. Boom is going to happen there.
Oh yeah, I know that. I mean, I've known that for 30 years. After the Cold War finished, it was quite clear that without the brakes being on because of the long-going push between the United States and the Soviet Union, that the rest of the world was going to boom. The only question is when. China's gone big, Russia went big, and now it's falling apart because it's got a strong man, and Eastern Europe's gone big.
South Asia is going big.
South Asia is an interesting one. It went too big. It went too big too fast. It went beyond its means. They had a huge collapse in the late 1990s, and they're only just recovering from it. They used to call them the tiger economies. But the problem in South Asia and a lot of the other countries is of course corruption. Now, if you have a burgeoning middle class who are business oriented, you get rid of corruption, because corruption is an impediment to doing business.
They're doing that in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Because corruption has stopped there, but then they realized that.
Do you know that the United States stopped accepting mail from Nigeria? Because a third of the postage stamps that were coming in to the sorting office in New York, all of the mail from Nigeria goes to New York, counterfeit.
Now they realize that if corruption continues, the country is now going up.
That's right.
So the rich people have nothing more. They won't get nothing to
Well,
get
whether
more.
you're rich or not, the point is that corruption